doctors from India. Welcome. So today the presentation is going to be about body fillers. So I will start with a general approach. You know that beautiful people have privileges, and beauty gives more confidence. That's why we would like to emphasize this in our consultations with the patients. Patients, when they come to us, they have been already shopping online, they've been through all these clinics and they did their Google search, and so they come to us and they tell us that I already diagnosed myself, I know what I need, correct? But what you have to tell those patients is that expectations are different than reality. And each nationality, each culture, each previous experience or the psychology of the patient is the thing that's going to affect whatever result you're going to give them. So, for example, in my region, for example, in Dubai, they like to have large buttock, they like to have wider hip dips. In some other areas, they like to have natural results. So, consultation is very important with the patient. Not every patient can get the result that they are looking for. It's very personalized, and this is what we should emphasize in the consultation. So, we can have in aesthetics very picky patients. They are cash payers, so they consider themselves like they don't need you as much because you know they are not they don't consider themselves like they have a sickness or a disease, so they are here because you know they want something that they are paying for and they have high expectations for that. They've already done their clinic shopping, so they've been everywhere here and there, they've been hearing about that. They bargain. This is the only specialty with bargaining. You know, you cannot bargain with hypertension, right? What if I make my hypertension less? It doesn't work. So we have to deal with those patients, and as doctors, as experts, understood yesterday, each molecule of hyaluronic acid attracts thousands of molecules of water. The filler of Infini for the body is thicker, definitely more than the face. This is good because it will be more resistance to enzymatic aggression, so it will last more. It can last up to 18 months. But of course, it depends on the patient, it depends on their metabolism, their lifestyle, whether they're smokers, they do gym, they exercise, or they just have a high metabolism. So smaller particles are the absorbed faster, like I mentioned, and larger particles are going to be more resistant and will give you more volume. So it's very important when you do a non-surgical procedure to decide which product is best for your patient, how much it will last in the body, which case is suitable for the treatment. Now I will show you which cases are suitable. How can I decide that if I do a treatment for this patient, is going to get a result? Or is she a candidate for a surgical procedure? Is she a candidate for an implant? Is she a candidate for transfer? And which area of the butt is going to give me the result that the patient is looking for, or what is best for them? What's good about this product is that it doesn't cause a foreign body reaction. So you don't get much inflammations and low inflammatory responses. Really, when you inject the product, when you inject Infini Body, some of the products that I've been using in the clinic, I'll tell you, like I said yesterday, there's no one product that is going to be for everybody. But this is a product that you would love to have in your clinic because you're going to use it eventually. Whether you use it for a bikini, whether you use it for a buttock, this is a product that's going to be suitable at some point for some patients. So you don't see with injections, with Infini, hardening of the area. You don't see accumulation of the product. You don't get surprises later. Like, for example, you inject the product and then after 1 week, they come with a bulge. They don't get so much swelling in the injections, so it doesn't mask the real result. What you see is what you get. And after 2 to 3 weeks, you start seeing smoothing of the filler and maybe a little bit more augmentation. So the rate of resorption in studies have been 18 to 24 months. So like I said again, it's also dependent on the patient's lifestyle and metabolism. exercise can affect that. If you're at the gym every day and you're squatting daily, of course it's not going to last you as much. So let's see for the result. How can I decide where I'm going to put my filler, what and why? So different shapes of the buttock, and according, like I said, which one do you think is nicer? Do you like the 0.6? Do you like the 0.5? Do you like the 0.8? Which one do you like? Which one do you prefer? 0.65. 0.65. So what we have to take is the waist versus hip ratio of the patient. So you have to see the patient as a whole, waist, hips, and thighs, and accordingly decide what shape is better for your patient. Of course, you cannot do this shape or achieve this shape for everybody, and it cannot be done in one session sometimes. So really there's no limit. I want to say there's no limit. Who performs body fillers in their clinic? What was the maximum amount that you used in one session? 200. So 20 syringes. 100. 100 per side or total? Total. So that's 50. 100 per side. Okay. Yeah. 200. So it's 100, 100. So, and did you get any side effects from the patients? So there's no limit to how much filler you can put, but maybe. Yeah. And also for the bikini area, how much do you use? 5 or 10. What about the anyone does injection for the penis? No, we're not gonna mention this today.
But we do.
We do.
I want to mention because we have a distributor. I can say that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Of course.
Because we.
Micro?
We have a distributor in Ecuador, and they are using our body filler a lot, and they inject into the penis and the vagina area. They also do the body filler injection for rejuvenation of vaginal part for the women, and they also combine this injection of the filler with threads to do the rejuvenation of.
I'll tell you something. In Dubai, particularly in our clinic, in Highness Clinic, we have an entire department for andrology.
Yeah.
So
and the product, the Infini body filler, is also very good for rejuvenation of vaginal and the penis enlargement. I don't know if you follow before the workshop we did in Dubai. Dr. Massimiliani was doing also the part of the presentation about injection of penis, because Dr. Natalie is not doing the penis.
No.
But some of the doctors, they are using it and they see really good, nice results. Of course, you cannot extend the length of the penis, but you can extend
the width.
Yeah. So it's also recommended, but there's no side effects.
We have a lot of patients in Dubai that ask for that, and we have a special department. And with regards to the bikini, not only you can combine it with the threads, you can also combine it with PRP, with lasers. So depending on the patient dimensions, you decide what is the amount of filler you're going to be using in which area. So in the case of these patients for augmentation, so patients that have, for example, if you have a patient that has flat on the side case, where would you inject them? This is where you would inject them, in the lateral part. I will divide now while explaining to you the practical part. Today, theory is not much. We're going to focus more on practice. So patient is flat on the side, you inject the lateral sides. Patient wants to have more round shape, you focus on the medial part. Lower part in the flat case, but be careful, because if the patient has, if you increase the amount of the filler in the lower part, you might risk sagging of the buttock. And the approach that we use the most is when you have completely flat case, so you fill up the entire region. And I will show you a demonstration on how to fill up, where to fill up, with the minimum number of injections. So this is a heart shape. This is the heart shape that most of the patients, they like. You have, it's more protruded in the upper part, and then it narrows down as you go. The other shape is round. This is the round butt. The square, where mainly they focus in the medial area, and the inverted V, where patients like to have also elongation of the butt. Now, how do you select the patients? First is very important, some tests that we do for the patients to decide which one is going to get a good result. You have if the patient hasn't have good skin laxity, if the patient doesn't have a good tissue cover, or if the patient has ptosis of the lower third of the butt, so if it's going down, this is not a patient that is considered a good candidate for butt fillers. One test that we do is the stretch test. Basically, what you are going to do, I'm going to show you now, you're going to stretch the skin, and if it stretches more than 50% of the starting distance that you started with, then they have a lot of extra skin. These candidates, my advice, do not do for them body fillers. The other test is the pinch test, where you pinch the skin, and you have to have at least 2 centimeters coverage to make sure that the patient is a good candidate. This is in my clinic. So basically, let me start with the play. No. I'm sorry, I'm speaking in Arabic. So this is the candle that we are using. We're doing a fanning technique. Here, I'm showing you only the thickness of the product, how thick it is. See how thick?
Very, very, very thick product. That's why a small quantity of this filler gives a very good result.
And the cannula that we are going to be using with this product is either 14 gauge or 17 gauge. Anybody is using Infini in their clinic for body? Okay, so this is your first time using Infini. So I will make sure some of you come to the stage and actually inject. We have here very advanced injectors as well. So the first thing you have to do is the marking, of course, the marking with the patients in the facing anterior position, 90 degrees, and posterior position, because you would like to assess the hip dips, any the amount of protrusion you want to give for the patient, the amount of sagginess that she has. You divide, I'm going to show you how we're going to divide each compartment and where to add fillers. And the post-care is very important. Usually I ask the patient to keep the tape for at least 24 hours to hold everything together. And I give them post-care. Do you give post-care treatments for the patients for body fillers? Do you give them antibiotics? Prophylactic. So you can put them on antibiotic, you can put them on medications for swelling, you can put them something for bruising and for pain. Pain is usually a sore pain. It's not really a pain that is not tolerable. So what are the benefits of Botox filler? Of course, it's non-surgical, there's no downtime, it's low risk, it's less pain, and the results are predictable. Patient doesn't like it, just go ahead and you can remove it. It's a natural result. There's no risk of scarring, no risk of having any need to sit at home. They can resume their activities right away, and they can go back to their lifestyle. And if there's somebody that exercises, usually I tell them do not exercise for at least 1 week. Sauna, jacuzzi, steam, Moroccan bath, all of that they cannot do at least for 1 week. And the results are mostly visible within 3 weeks. Alrighty. So if you want to add volume, we want to add volume to this patient. We add it mostly in the lateral part. As you can see, this is the part where she has lost volume. For the projection, we can focus on the hip dip as well as the upper part of the buttock. Not only it gives volume, but it also gives lifting and it helps with the projection. For the upper projection, you can focus on the upper part of the butt and the medial one. And this is also a second case of projection where the patient was injected only in the middle part of the butt to have a medial projection. A round-shaped butt, we can focus on the lateral part and the lower part of the butt by injecting going from the trochanteric area, from the lateral trochanter, and doing a fanning technique. So this is a patient that had a hip dip, all right, but at the same time, she has a good volume. It's not my personal favorite, but I wanted to show you in my region how they like it to be. So they, even if they have good volume, they still want to have a continuation of their hip dip. So we inject those with large amounts. Does anyone do this procedure, and how much filler have you used in each area? 120 in each for the hip dips and for the buttock together.
It was not too much.
Okay.
It was not.
It works not too much in the hip dips? Yes, the hip dips, you have to inject really a lot of quantity for you to see a result. This is something that we struggle in our clinics to tell the patients as well. What else? Who else does that? In the hip dip. Minimum 200. Yes. All right, so take home message, it's a good procedure because you have less pain, less swelling, no bruising, less product of the is used to give a good result. As I mentioned, that beauty is confidence, but you always have to teach your patients to embrace their insecurities and to help them, as physicians, try to accept themselves and love themselves the way they are. And let's recap. We always compare ourselves to models, to people on social media, and we know that at the end of the day, beauty has to come from within. I know it's utopic, but we try our best with our patients. And that's it. Merci. That was quick today. I think we can start with the practical part. Anyone has any questions for me, please? Nice and easy. Yesterday was good. Yeah, yesterday was like 2 hours and a half of lecture. Very deep, intense. Okay, Anna is here. Yeah. So Anna wants to make an announcement with regards to the training. No, the doctors that are going to join.
Now I want to take all doctors to take like a group picture.
We'll take a group picture.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll go outside. The model is on the way.
You know how fun this is to have it